I don't know, for me, Apple events lately have been kind of like duds. They haven't been exciting, they've been pretty boring, but I think that's a combination of almost everything being leaked ahead of time, and also, at least to me, everything that's out right now is pretty solid, and there's not a lot that I want it to do that it doesn't already do. But WWDC is a little different. It's getting me a little excited. Yes, everything is pretty much leaked still, but what is leaked, at least a few of the things, are actually pretty interesting. Okay, so WWDC is the Worldwide Developers Conference for Apple. Pretty much every big tech company has a developer conference. Microsoft has Build, Google has I/O, and it's a place where they can bring developers to show off the next version of their software or what they're working on, so that developers who actually make software on the platform can begin to create and update their apps for everything that's new. And for us customers, this is a place where we get to see the new versions of the software and what's going to be coming to our devices. This year, it's taking place in San Jose, California on June 3rd through the 7th, and the thing we're all interested in is happening on Monday. Now, the list of what we're expecting isn't actually that long. It's pretty standard stuff, new software, and hopefully a little bit of hardware. First off is iOS 13. This is the obvious no-brainer. Even though it's not official, it's about as official as it can be. Now, in all honesty, there's really not much here that excites me, especially on the iPhone side. I mean, the biggest thing we're looking to see is finally a dark mode. And, you know, I get the hype around it. Dark mode is something we've been expecting to see for years now, especially since Apple moved the iPhone over to OLED. Looks like we're finally going to see it. I don't know, I'm not too hyped about this. I'm kind of over dark mode, if that makes sense. Everything has a dark mode now, and I'm just like, whatever, it's here. I'm almost starting to go back and just use the light mode. But then we'll have updates to other apps like Messages, Mail, giving you a few new features there. The Reminders app is supposed to be completely redesigned. The thing that I'm really excited for, though, is on the iPad. We all know the iPad Pro is excellent hardware. I think it's some of the best hardware ever created, but the software is lacking. I mean, iOS 12 just isn't up to snuff for what Apple has put out. But it looks like iOS 13 might actually be fixing that. There should be a new multitasking mode that lets you do much more. So right now, you could do a max of 4 different tasks. You could have 2 windows side by side, one floating on top, and you can have a picture-in-picture of a video playing. And that's the most that you can do. But with this new version, we should be able to do more. We might be able to do instances of apps. So like on your Mac, you can open a Safari window and then open another Safari window. You can't do that on an iPad, but hopefully that will be fixed now. There's also word of being able to use your iPad as a second display for your Mac, which would be cool. There have been third parties that have let you do this in the past, but having that native support, I think is a great idea. And the one that's, at first I was kind of, I don't know, iffy about it. I was like, why would you want this? But the more I thought about it, kind of made sense, is mouse support. I know people ask for mouse support on the iPad all the time, and I've never understood it. It's not a laptop, it doesn't have a mouse. But what made me kind of reconsider this is when you plug it into an external display. So the iPad Pro right now does have support for external displays, but all it does is mirror your screen onto the external display. It's pretty useless for the most part. It's not even in 16:9 or whatever aspect ratio your monitor's in. But think about this, if Apple updated that and gave you a second display, not just a mirror of what you already had, then that's where I think mouse support actually makes sense. So you can plug it in, dock in, and use a mouse like you would a MacBook, and then when you're on the go, you have an iPad. I think that actually kind of makes sense. I don't know if Apple's gonna do it, but I kind of want to see it. And then there's a bunch of other smaller additions that we always see in these big updates. Things like swipe support on the keyboard, which I'm all for. There's also supposed to be a new Find My iPhone app that's called Find My. It's kind of everything integrated into one, but the real big thing here is that you should be able to find your devices even if they aren't connected to a network. It's supposed to use the Wi-Fi networks around your device to kind of ping its location, and if that actually works, that's pretty cool. Some interface updates, some accessibility updates. These are all things that we kind of expect. And overall, iOS 13 is kind of hit or miss. If I'm just looking at the iPhone, honestly, it looks really boring. But I think if they do it right, seeing iOS 13 on the iPad will be a big deal. Okay, so real quick before we talk about what else we might see, let's thank this video sponsor, Bookmark.com. Bookmark is a free website builder that will let you create any website you would want in just a couple minutes by just answering a few simple questions. It has artificial intelligence that actually creates your website right before you, and the entire process takes less than 2 minutes.
Bookmarks websites are fully responsive, and this will work for pretty much every situation. If you need e-commerce integration, you have that. This is a really cool way to make a website and have it up and running very quickly. So be sure to check out bookmark.com. I'll leave a link down below in the description. Give it a try.
Okay, so the next thing we're expecting from WWDC is macOS 10.15. And if there's something less exciting than iOS 13, this is it. I mean, we're not really expecting a lot here. We're gonna see some of the same updates that we're getting in iOS 13, so like new messages, new reminders, all that kind of stuff. But one thing that is not that exciting on paper, but is actually a pretty big deal, is Marzipan apps. This is something we've already started to see from Apple, so the Stocks app, the Home app, the News app, these are all what are considered Marzipan apps. And the idea here is that they're iOS apps that actually work on the Mac. So this would let developers write one set of code that will work on every platform, so the iPad, the iPhone, and the Mac. Now up until now, it's only been Apple's apps that have done this, but the rumor is that we're going to see this finally open to developers so that we can see what they can do with it. I think at the moment, this isn't really going to change too much, but I could see it doing a lot in the future. There's some interesting changes coming to the Apple Watch in watchOS 6, and I'm not exactly sure how to feel about them. The biggest one is its own app store actually running on the watch. This would definitely take it a step further in making it its own product that is a little less tethered to the iPhone, but I can't imagine looking for apps on this little tiny screen. But hey, maybe it's actually the best way to do it. We should also see some new watch faces, new complications, some new apps like Calculator and Voice Memos app, and also some new health tracking features like being able to track when you need to take your medication. Now there were some rumors of being able to do sleep tracking with the watch. I don't know how I feel about sleep tracking on a watch like this. I just can't sleep in this. And you would also need the battery life to be really good, so maybe that's something that's not gonna come with watchOS 6 just yet. It'll be maybe in the next version of the Apple Watch. I don't know if I want that. So that's pretty much all of the software stuff that we're expecting to see. And like I said, it's really not that exciting. There's not that much to really get pumped about. But there is one thing that I think Apple could do that would save the show and actually make it one of the best ones in a while. And that's the new Mac Pro. So we know they're working on this new modular Mac Pro that's supposed to be the second coming of Jesus or whatever, and we still haven't seen it. Hopefully WWDC is where we actually get a glimpse of it. If it's not a full release, at least give us a little sneak peek. It would make sense to show it off here because all the developers are there. The people who actually buy high-end hardware are actually going to be in attendance. I think it makes sense to at least show it off there. I'm just excited to see it. But either way, WWDC 2019 is coming up fast, and whatever they're announcing is coming pretty soon.